kept the bees on our back porch. And we had an acre, so we had some space, but the bees were like facing the backyard. And anytime kids would run past or whatever, the bees were in the flight path. And so I was like, how can I make it so that the bees are not going to sting people as they're just playing outside? And so in one of the books that I'd read, he had tied up like these flags in front of the beehive that were kind of like waving. And that constant movement got the bees comfortable with movement, so that if people walked by, it wouldn't upset the bees, because it was normal to see movement in the ways of the bees where the bees fly. And so I hung up a couple of little flags, and I remember one time I was standing really, really, really close to the bees, and I was just kind of watching them as they're flying in and out of their house. And I got a little bit overconfident, I guess, and one of the bees wasn't very happy with me. And so it stung me right on the neck. I think I got 2 different stings right on my neck. And it swelled up really big and it hurt really bad. Another time I got stung on my eyelid.
Was this when
I'll tell you that story later.
Oh, okay.
But I got stung on my neck really, really bad, and it hurt and it itched. But I remember, I can't remember where I was going with this story.
You're trying to get the flight path.
Right.
So that kids wouldn't get stung, and then you got overly confident and got stung.
Every time I've ever been stung, it's always from getting overly confident. Mm-hmm. Like I try to do something.
They're my best friends now. It's like they don't even have stingers. Ouch! They still have stingers.
Right. So I made an agreement with my mom that she would pay for all the beekeeping equipment that I wanted, and in exchange I would give her honey, and we established a value to the honey. I think it was like $5 a pound,
which is pretty great.
That's really low. And so for every pound of honey that I made, I would give it to her, and then it would take $5 off of the debt that I owed for all the beekeeping equipment that she had purchased. So I bought like
pretty good deal, I'd say.
It was a great deal. It was a great deal for her and for me. Okay, because I was able to get 10 beehives, and it didn't come out of my pocket, it came out of hers. I probably spent like maybe $1,000 on all this beekeeping equipment. And then the cool thing was, in the summertime in Florida, or all the year basically, is all summertime, so the bees were producing honey all year round. And that's
amazing.
One day they were just in this one box, and one day we came home, and we noticed that they were swarming. The bees were leaving the box, and we're like, what's going on? The bees are leaving there.
Because it looks terrifying. When you see a swarm of bees, it's like, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. Like if you walked into the middle of that, you would die.
It does look terrifying. It's actually really cool. If you look at the entrance of the hive as they're swarming, it looks like water flowing out, but it's like fluid. It's just tens of thousands of bees all evacuating instantly. And then there's like this huge cloud of bees, like in Winnie the Pooh when he's getting chased by the swarm. Right, there's this huge cloud of bees, and they're all buzzing around at 1,000,000 miles an hour, and it's loud, and it's like, what's going on? And then if you watch it for long enough, all of a sudden the cloud of bees starts moving. It starts shifting, and you're like, wait, where's it going? It's going that way. And so you start following the cloud of bees, and then all of a sudden they start to swarm around this branch on a tree, and then you start to notice that they're landing on the branch, and that there's this little cluster of bees on the branch that gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until it's this huge ball of bees on this branch. Yeah. And it's like, whoa, it's so crazy, and it's freaky, and it's scary, and it's exciting. And that first swarm of bees landed up on the branch, and we're like, it's like 30 feet high. How are we going to be able to get that swarm of bees? Because what happened was the beehive got too full, and so half of the bees left and the other half stayed. And so we're like, well, now we have a second hive. If we can get those bees down and put them in a box, now we have two beehives.
That's the tricky part.
But they were so high up we couldn't get them. So I was like, let's just keep an eye on them, and then maybe they'll swarm again and go somewhere else, because they're not just going to stay on that branch. And I think they stayed there for like 2 days.
Wow.
And then finally we came back one day and they were gone. Oh. It was sad.